Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. Hearthstone World Championship is over. Congratulations to Pocket Train for winning the World Championship 2023, and immediately thereafter, Play Hearthstone dropped a teaser about the next balance patch on us, with the note saying that full patch notes are coming tomorrow. And traditionally the patch notes come on the same day as the patch itself, although sometimes they also do come a day before, but we can most certainly expect a balance patch tomorrow, and a balance patch that comes with 6 nerfs, 16 buffs, and 1 ban. Wow, that's a huge balance patch coming. But will any of it matter? Let's take a look at what cards are going to be changed. So first of all, the nerfs. Paladin is getting 2 cards nerfed. Yeah, Paladin has like all the best archetypes in the game are Paladin decks, and only 2 cards are being nerfed, but the cards are quite important ones. There's Keeper Strength and there's Prismatic Beam. So I see what you did there, Blizzard. Both of these cards nerf Paladin's ability to come back to the game. Because previously Paladin was taking the board and alright, and was coming in, and once you cleared some boards, maybe it was able to generate a couple of other boards, but once you cleared those boards, okay, you were fine. But what Keeper Strength and Prismatic Beam do is they allow Paladin to clear your board and still maintain a board presence of their own. And also so that if you have cleared Paladin's board, only you have a board, these 2 cards allow Paladin to destroy that board of yours and have a board of their own instead. So very, very powerful swing turn cards. And both of them are getting nerfed. So depending on how hard these are going to be hit, that's going to be huge. Paladin is going to lose so many comeback mechanics, but we'll see. We'll see about the nerfs tomorrow. Then we have some nerfs for Druid as well. Splish Splash Whelp and Desert Nest Matron both are going to be nerfed. 2 of the strongest cards in Dragon Druid, the Super Ramp card and the Super Cheat card. I mean, it's a 0 mana 3/5 with Taunt coming in as early as turn 4 or as early as turn 3 if you have ramped up before. So yeah, those are true power plays, both of them getting nerfed. So Ramp Druid's ability to ramp and be responsive and defend in the early game is going to be hit, which means that aggressive decks might have a better chance against it even more. And then there's the ban. The ban is a neutral card, but it makes sense to talk about it in conjunction with Druid, because Pyrotechnician, after you cast a spell, add a random fire spell to your hand, and it's getting banned. Fire Druid. Fire Druid was rocking around something like 43% win rate. Yeah, the deck was totally bonkers. I mean, our deck was, how would I describe it? Goofy? Stupid? I don't know. It's just crazy. It's just did really crazy things. Like, there would be so many fire spells, they could be anything, and yeah, stuff would happen. Sometimes you would just die instantly or whatever. But that goofiness is now going away, with Pyrotechnician being banned. I'm quite surprised because Fire Druid's performance wasn't that high, but well, okay. I mean, it definitely wasn't the type of Hearthstone that I enjoy, so I don't mind that. I'm just surprised by it. And the final 2 nerfs are going to hit Dr. Holiday. Specifically, they're going to hit the frog staff that Dr. Holiday is going to give you, and they're going to hit Arcane Worm. And because it says that it's going to hit Arcane Worm, but it doesn't say that it's going to hit Arcane Bolt, then probably that means a stat or mana cost change to the worm itself and no changes to how the bolt itself functions. So yeah, Paladin, Dragon Druid, Fire Druid banned, Highlander Shaman, Sith Mage taking hits. That's the who's who in current Hearthstone. Those are all the best decks. So all the best decks are getting hit. Alright. That's promising. That will open up some design space, that will open up some space for battle. But what about the buffs? There's 3 buffs for Death Knight, and these are Rainbow Death Knight buffs. Maw and Paw, Corpse Bride, and Climactic Necrotic Explosion. I have played some Rainbow Death Knight every once in a while when viewers have forced me to do so, and man, it has been a terrible experience. Climactic Necrotic Explosion in particular is a totally useless card. And yeah, because those souls, they just stand there. You get to turn 10, you get some big souls, and then they just stand there and do nothing, and then the opponent will kill you on the following turn. Because they don't have Taunt, they don't have Rush, they don't have Charge, they don't have anything, and they just don't do anything. So yeah, Climactic Necrotic Explosion, I would expect this card to Well, at least it needs some mana cost reduction, because you won't get to turn 10 to play this. But what else? We'll see. And yeah, some corpse expenditure and generation also being buffed. Will be interesting to see, although I don't expect Rainbow Death Knight to be playable. I really don't. It would take some huge changes to these cards to make it playable. But tomorrow we'll see. If these cards are going to be buffed in a major way, then maybe it's Rainbow time. Priest is getting the most buffs, with 4 cards getting buffed. Invasive Shadeleaf, Pip the Potent, Rarran, and Ellie's Badlands Savior. And yeah, Priest is not in a very good spot right now, apart from Naga Priest. And as it happens, Pip the Potent is a card that is currently run in Naga Priest, and Naga Priest is doing fine. So Pip the Potent being buffed, Pip the Potent is one of the weaker cards in that list. But now, after the buff, who knows? That might just bring Naga Priest into a whole new level. Then we have Automaton Priest, which runs Rarran. Rarran is one of the weaker cards in the list. You kind of want that because you want to get those automatons out whatever way you can, but Rarran's death rattle is one of the worst ways to do that. So Rarran buff, yeah, we'll see. Automaton Priest is around 48% win rate right now, so good Rarran buff could make Automaton Priest viable. And then we have Ellie's Badlands Bad. Yeah, Ellie's is a Highlander synergy card that is so bad that Highlander Priest doesn't run it. So, yeah. I wonder what they're going to do to Ellie's to make it playable. But I guess we're about to find out. We're also getting 3 rogue buffs. Buff to Shell Game, a random epic rare and common card from other classes. To Velarok Windblade, one of the least impressive legendary cards in existence. While this is in your hand, play 3 cards from other classes to give it a minor upgrade. Yeah, like, dude, the payoff isn't even there. It's not there. So, but if the cost for that payoff would be much lower, then maybe there would be some kind of payoff there. And then the Azerite Scorpion, which is the legendary treasure from 4 excavations for Rogue. Belagrai get 4 random spells. If you excavate it 8 times, they cost 0. Very lackluster, doesn't do much of anything, doesn't see any play. Excavation has been completely dead in Rogue, so maybe with sufficient buffs, Excavate Rogue can come back, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Then we have some interesting buffs for Warlock, because Furnace Fuel is getting buffed, Pop card Pewter is getting buffed, and a neutral card Barrel of Sludge is getting buffed. They mention Barrel of Sludge and Pop card separately, which means that both of these are getting separate buffs, so Pop card's buff is not just that Barrel of Sludge is getting buffed, Pop card is getting something else too. That's interesting, because Pop card is already a fine card. It just doesn't have the deck around it, and you would have thought that with the Barrel of Sludge buffs, then Pop card would just be good already. But it's also getting a buff, so that's going to be a really strong card. Will it still have a deck? Who knows. Furnace Fuel, on the other hand, is one of the weakest cards in Sludge Warlock, and Sludge Warlock is not an impressive deck. But if Furnace Fuel becomes better, so Sludge Warlock gets more card draw, easy card draw, Pop card becomes a huge payoff card, and all barrels are going to be stronger, then there could be something to Sludge Warlock again. Who knows. Then we have 2 warrior buffs. Slagmo the Slumbering, Rush, Taunt, Dormant for 8 turns, Excavate to Awaken 2 turns sooner. A completely useless card. But I mean, if you can awaken this early, then it is still a 4 mana 16/16 with Rush and Taunt. Which isn't that bad, you know. It's just so difficult to make use of, but we'll see what's going to happen with that. And then Gasgoroth. Gasgoroth has been one of the weakest Titans. It actually was played at the World Championship though, even as such. It's not terrible, it's just not impressive at all. And now it's going to become better, more in line with the other Titans, and other Titans are typically game-changing cards, so maybe Gasgoroth can become a game-changing card too. But what will that mean for Warrior? If either of these becomes really great, is that going to make like Control Warrior great? Probably not. I mean, if Gasgoroth becomes really great, Control Warrior is already somewhat viable. So they currently usually don't run Gasgoroth, but then they would start running Gasgoroth, and that would improve the deck a little bit. So maybe there's something that Slagmaw would probably need something more around to build around it, but we'll see. Maybe, but I'm not hoping too much. And the final buff is to a neutral card, Horseshoe Slinger, 3 mana 2/2 mech. Battlecry deal 2 damage to random enemy minion, quick draw and one of its neighbors. Well, it is a mech card, so if it gets buffed, maybe it becomes good enough to run in something like Mech Rogue. Maybe, who knows? And probably it's just like to buff the legendary card that gives you random quick draw cards. Because if this is cheaper, for example, then you can just cycle more quick draw cards. That could be something, but you probably don't put this in your deck unless maybe if you're playing Mech Rogue and this becomes a lot better. So those were all the cards that are going to be buffed and nerfed in the next patch. Patch notes are coming tomorrow, and I expect the patch to come tomorrow as well, but it could of course come on Wednesday or Thursday too. Anyway, all the top archetypes are getting nerfed, so the competition is going to become more fierce. There's going to be a lot more room for other decks to be played as well, so it looks like it's going to be interesting meta. But which decks are going to be in that interesting meta? Most of the buffs here are unlikely to raise these decks to the meta. I mean, I just don't see it happening for most of these decks. But something like Naga Priest, Automaton Priest, Sludge Warlock, decks that already have a plan, and now they get some improvements and maybe they're able to execute the plan better, then those could be something that could become things. I mean, Naga Priest already is a thing. But of course, then there's also the fact that so many decks are getting nerfed, so all the existing competition is also going to be a little different. So it's really difficult to evaluate the overall effect. But yeah, tons of changes, and I expect the meta to actually change this time, so it will be interesting to see. The full patch notes are coming tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.